Hello, welcome back to chapter 2 of Pilgrim's Progress. So if you remember from last week, we learned about a guy named Christian, and he was reading this book and he was upset and troubled by what he was reading, and he went home and tried to hide this from his family. Finally, he couldn't hide it anymore. He started talking about it. They got super upset, and then he met a guy named Evangelist. And Evangelist pointed him to this gate and this light. And that is what Christian decided to follow. And so we left last time with Christian not looking behind him, but fleeing toward the middle of the plain. So chapter 2. It's called Obstinate and Pliable. The neighbors also came out to see him run. As he ran, some mocked, others threatened, and some cried after him to return. Among those who did so were two who were resolved to fetch him back by force. The name of the one was Obstinate, and the name of the other was Pliable. Now, by this time, the man had gone a good distance away from them, but they were resolved to pursue him, and in a little while they caught up with him. Then the man said, "Neighbors, why have you come?" They answered, "To persuade you to come back with us." But he said, "That cannot be. You dwell in the city of destruction, the place where I was born. I see that, sooner or later, dying there, we will sink lower than the grave, into a place which burns with fire and brimstone. Think, good neighbours, and come with me." "What?" said Obstinate, "and leave our friends and comforts behind us?" "Yes," said Christian, for that was his name, "because all that you shall forsake, it is not worthy to be compared with a little of what I am seeking to enjoy. And if you will go along with me and persevere, you shall fare as well as I myself. For there, where I am going, is more than enough and to spare. Come along and see that my words are true." "What are the things which you seek?" asked Obstinate, "since you are leaving all the world to find them?" Christian answered, "I am seeking an inheritance which can never perish, spoil, or fade, and reserved in heaven to be bestowed at the appointed time on those who diligently seek it. Read it so, if you will, in my book." "Nonsense!" cried Obstinate. "Away with your book! Will you go back with us or not?" "No, not I," said Christian, "because I have put my hand to the plough and I will not turn back." "Come then, neighbour Pliable," said Obstinate, "let us go home without him. There are too many of these silly fools, when they get a crazy thought in their head, are wiser in their eyes than 7 men who can think reasonably." "Do not revile him," said Pliable. "If what Christian says is true, then the things which he follows after are better than ours, and my heart is inclined to go with him." "What?" bellowed Obstinate. "More fools still! Take my word and go back with me. Who knows where such a foolish person will lead you? Come back and be wise." "No," said Christian. "Rather come along with me, Obstinate. We will receive such things as I spoke of, and many more indescribable blessings beside. If you do not believe me, then read here in my book. These truths are all confirmed by the blood of him who wrote it." "Well then, neighbour Obstinate," said Pliable, "I intend to go along with this good man and cast my lot in with him." Then Pliable turned to Christian and said, "Do you know the way to this glorious place?" Christian replied, "I have been directed by a man whose name is Evangelist, to hasten to the narrow gate ahead of us, where we shall receive instructions about the way." "Come then, good Christian, let us be going," said Pliable. Then they began to travel along together. "And I will go back to my place," said Obstinate. "I will not be a companion to such misled, foolish fellows." Now I saw in my dream that Obstinate went back, and Christian and Pliable went along toward the narrow gate, conversing together. "Neighbour Pliable," said Christian, "I am glad you were persuaded to go along with me. Had Obstinate but felt what I have felt of the power and terror of unseen realities, he would not so easily have turned back." Pliable replied, "Tell me further, Christian. What are these glorious things, and how are they to be enjoyed?" "I can better understand them with my mind than speak of them with my tongue, said Christian. But since you are desirous to know, I will describe them to you from my book. And do you think that the words of your book are really true? Asked Pliable. Yes, absolutely, for it was written by him who cannot lie, answered Christian. What are these glorious things of which you speak? Questioned Pliable. There is an eternal kingdom and an everlasting life to be given to us, where we will dwell forever, replied Christian. And what else is there? Asked Pliable. We will be given crowns of glory and garments which shine like the sun. Well, this is wonderful, exclaimed Pliable. What else will there be? There will be no more crying, no more sorrow, for he who reigns over that place will wipe all tears from our eyes, responded Christian. And what company shall we have there? Pliable inquired. Christian answered, There we will be with seraphim and cherubim, creatures which will dazzle your eyes to look upon. There also you shall meet with thousands and tens of thousands who have gone ahead of us to that place. They are all loving and holy, each one fully accepted by God and standing in his presence. In a word, there we shall dwell with all the redeemed people of God, having golden crowns and golden harps. We shall also see those who, for the love which they bore to the Saviour, were cut into pieces, burned in the flames, eaten by beasts, or drowned in the seas. They are all perfect, clothed with immortality. Just hearing of this is enough to ravish one's heart, said Pliable. How are these things to be enjoyed, and how can we obtain them? Christian responded, The Lord, the governor of that country, has recorded in his book that if we are truly willing to have it, he will bestow it upon us freely. Well, my good companion, said Pliable, I am thrilled to hear of these things. Come, let us quicken our pace. I cannot go as fast as I would, answered Christian, because of this burden which is on my back. Until next week.